Hey guys, what's going on? Today's project, a Sprinter van. It's got single stage paint. The goal of this video is not to explain extensively what single stage paint is. Just know that it's a completely different animal than two-stage paint. The simple explanation of that, so there's a little context, is single stage paint is just the color coat. There's no clear coat on top of it. When it comes to working on it, it is a completely different animal. Back in the day, like 100 years ago, yes, that was hyperbole, I remember working on a 7 Series BMW. I was buffing it, and it was single stage paint. And what happens is it creates this uneven, blotchy appearance. And I'm buffing it, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I am ruining this paint. What do I do? Of course, that was back in the day before the internet and forums and all this training that's available. And so I was in freak out mode. And so I'm finessing in, and I don't know what to do. I don't know if I'm not polishing enough, I'm not being aggressive enough, or I'm polishing too aggressively. I really did not know what to do. Fast forward, now I understand the beast. Question I want to propose to you guys is, how do you explain this to your customer? Because what's going to happen, especially if you're a beginner, is you're going to roll up on a, let's say, a Sprinter like this one, which is what I was working on, and you think, yes, white paint. It doesn't get any easier than white paint. Well, caveat, unless of course it's single stage paint. Then it becomes a living nightmare because it's virtually impossible to create a flawless, perfectly uniform finish to it. And when I mean uniform in appearance. So what will happen is you will look at the van, the car, the truck, the boat, because gel coat's the same way. Gel coat, as a rule, has no clear coat on it. It's unprotected with clear coat, and so it's impossible to maintain a perfect finish. So in one direction, you will look at it and you will think, damn, that looks phenomenal. But then you change directions of the lighting and you're like, stop the press. What is going on? I see blotchiness, I see streaks, I see these patterns. What WTF? And that's the nature of the beast. So, I love metaphors. In fact, I don't know if I've metaphor that I did not like. The reason I like metaphors is because you can take something that is not easily understood and now you wrap it in a metaphor. In fact, that was almost a metaphor in and of itself. You wrap it in a way that instantly is understandable to the person in which you're trying to communicate. In this situation, it's your customer. How do you explain this to your customer? Because if your customer comes out, checks it out, Johnny customer's like, damn, that looks good. And then checks it out and goes, damn, what the hell is up, Darren? It's like, oh, there's this thing called single stage paint. Now we got Johnny Gardner going on. So, I love metaphors, but if the real goal is communication, which is always the goal for me, is understanding. I want both parties to be on the same page. Then I need to relate it in a way that they understand. So just because I pick a metaphor out of the air doesn't mean they're going to naturally understand that metaphor. So for example, genders, men, women, we grow up with different life experiences. So I will try to pick a metaphor that is easily understood by my customer, knowing at least enough information about my customer in which to choose the proper metaphor. So this, how do you describe single stage paint? It doesn't have a clear coat. Why is it a different animal? How do I take a lot of information, reduce it down to something simple that they can then understand and go like, oh, now I get it. Now I get that it would be unrealistic for me to expect anything different than what you've delivered, because my expectations were this. Now you've explained it through the use of a proper metaphor, and now I completely understand it. And now we have the meeting of the minds. So for example, with women, many women are familiar with acrylic nails or just getting their nails done. So I may say, okay, you're familiar, you go to the nail salon, they paint your nails. What do they generally do at the very end? They paint the color, right? After they prepped it, all that other stuff. They paint the color and then they do what? They put a clear coat on it. Have you ever noticed the difference in color between the unclear coated nail polish versus the clear coated? The clear actually makes it brighter and it creates a layer of protection on that base color coat. So I might go with that metaphor if I think that that woman is such. If not, I'll pick a different metaphor. Men, maybe it's wood, working with wood. Okay, imagine you just stained your wood and the staining looks great, but now you want to make it pop and you want to add some protection to it. So you're going to come in, you're going to paint some clear urethane over it. Now that cabinet really pops, and now you've also added a layer of clear protective coating to it. So that's where I lead to. What I want to know from you guys is, how do you explain it to your customer, if in fact you do? Maybe a lot of you have never worked on single stage paint, which yes, if you, my simple answer is this: run the other way. Completely different animal. But tell me, and you're not really telling me, what you're doing is you're telling the other readers that come in, watch this video, and they will be able to see all your guys' different answers, because I guarantee there's a couple guys out there that have found the perfect metaphor in which to explain this to a customer. So in case you don't know what I'm talking about, let's go in very quickly. I'm going to show you the different angles of lighting so you can, hopefully, I can capture it on that silly little device and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, here we have the back end, and I'm looking down the side and up at this, and at least from here it looks pretty damn good. Okay, I have no idea what's gonna reveal once I download this on the computer. Often it is very shocking. What I'm about to do is capture the blotchiness. Okay, you see all through here, there's like streaks. All these streaks. Up there, there's blotchiness. And I don't know if this is gonna capture it or not. And that's the problem, is that if I was to fix this visually, I would need some very aggressive polish. And after just a couple times, I would polish the paint away. So it becomes unrealistic. Here's the hood. So notice in this lighting, hopefully is showing blotchy effect. Then you come around here and hopefully it's showing an unblotchy effect. So this gets tricky. See, if I pull back here, you can see how it looks very shiny. Most people would call that, you know, it would be hyperbolic to say perfection, but it looks pretty damn good. Lighting can make or break anything. So in conclusion, I hope that you and I have come to a little bit of meeting of the minds, but paying it forward, I want you guys to help me pay it forward and teach some of the beginners, how do you deal with the situation? So you will come across it when working on boats, traditional gel coat boats, single stage paint. Most often, the single stage paint will be white. How do you explain this to your customer in a way that manages their expectations and you can actually perform at a level that they find very good? So leave your comment below. Be as long-winded as you want. It's your time. The more detailed information, the better, because it's going to help the guys out that are newbies and they're coming into this and they just want a fighting chance. So don't forget, thumbs up if you like what you see, and by all means subscribe to the channel, and we will see you on the next round.